So I just
So
wanted.
how are you, man?
I'm doing great. I'm still doing the obsolete gamer stuff, but I'm
Yeah?
also working with a group here in Miami who is trying to bring together um, people who are like graduating from the colleges in game design, things like that. So what we're
Okay.
trying to do is like show that there is gaming here. Yes, it's not big as like California, but some people would like to stay home and actually be able to do something here. And so what my job is trying to do like the media side of it, reach out to people who do have companies here who have developed games in Miami so that people can see, oh, there's people here, maybe I can do it too. So that's what I kind of want to talk about today was, just your decision about how you came to, start Moon Spider here and, just the experiences of being, a game developer and publisher.
It's a very good question actually because even me, I would never imagine that I would open my company in Miami first. When I really started, I wanted to go to California like everybody else, and what happened is actually a lot of little circumstances, that bring me here. First, the my parents, they live in Miami for almost 15 years now. So I knew the city very well. I was coming to see them for vacation, Christmas, all this stuff.
Mhm.
And I really liked it. It's a very beautiful city. It's, the beach everywhere. It's very good weather, everything. But at that time, I was in France. I was working for different, companies in France in video games. And I have the opportunity to open my own company. So first, I thought about France. Of course, I'm French. I want to stay over there. Had all my friends over there. All my life. So let's stay over there. And very soon, because of taxes and everything, my investor was like, no, no, no. If you want to make your company and if you want that I follow you, you have to do it in the United States because France there is no way. And I'm like, okay, why not? I love the United States. I always wanted to go, so let's try. And so first, I really wanted to go to California, Los Angeles or San Francisco, or like where everybody else live. You know what I mean? And do like all the companies are there. All that stuff. So for me, there was not another solution. And you have also Hollywood, who is already over there, and video games and movies. They start to really share the same kind of employees. So for me, it was the best way. And I really went, with my little bag, and I left France, and I spent actually a month, a little less, maybe like 2 3 weeks in California to see where I could live, and open my company seriously. And I did. I remember I did all the San Francisco Bay. I stopped in each city each day, to see if it was a good city, if it was not too expensive, etc., etc. And first, I didn't really like San Francisco. I love the city. I think it's a beautiful city, one of the most beautiful I ever seen. But I didn't really like the ambience, over there compared to Miami or New York or different zone like that. And the price were crazy
Oh
already,
yeah.
crazy, and it was 5 6 years ago. So when I saw the amount to rent, to have a good apartment, to have a good company with a good office, big, and in a zone that is not too dangerous and everything, I saw that it was actually almost more expensive than Paris, who is already one of the most expensive city in the world. So
Wow.
I was like, this is ridiculous for me. I can't follow. And I went to see also, like, I went to LA, Santa Monica, all that stuff. I have a friend who works at a Naughty Dog. They
Mhm.
were working. They were working on the. I think it was Uncharted 3 at that moment, and so he bring me to the studio, and I saw this amazing studio yeah, it was in Santa Monica, I think, if I remember correctly. And yes, it was fantastic, but it was so expensive that, okay, maybe in 10 years, if I sell millions and millions of games, but right now it was not possible for my little indie companies that I wanted to do. So After went to every city like that. I came back to see my parents actually in Miami because I was in LA. So let's go see them, you know. And I was just depressed. I was like, I can't follow that, you know. I don't have enough money. I want to put as much money as I can into the game that I'm doing, not into bullshit around, you know. Like it's not possible.
Right.
So so it's actually my dad who told me, was like, but why you don't open it in Miami? And I remember I laughed. I was like, what are you talking about? I don't want to open a club. I don't want to open a nightclub. I want to open a video game company. What are you talking about? How I can? And he was like, you try. You have nothing to lose. Just go fish, you know, and see. And I thought about it. And I was like, okay, so I'm gonna. He's right. I have nothing to lose. So what I did actually is I made a fake company with a fake logo, you know, with a friend that I asked and everything. I put an announcement on Gamma Sutra,
Ah.
and I said, new company opening in Miami, blah blah blah. We're gonna do this kind of games, and I need, and I put everybody, you know, animators, programmers, level designers, you know, the entire team. And I was like, I'm gonna try. You know, it's gonna cost me just the price of the announcement. You know, so that's not that bad. And if I have no answer, I have no answer. So I did that, and actually, I've got 70 answer in a week.
Wow.
And I remember the first days, I couldn't even see you know, a resume of somebody, that another one was coming up, you know, on my email address. It was insane. And so I was like, wow, awesome. And some good guys actually, you know, like some very good resume, with because I was needed some people that had already experience.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, yeah, I found everybody in almost a week. Everybody was already, my entire team was already set up. And well, I hired maybe 4 or 5 guys at that moment, and you know, we were not a lot, but they were important, and that what I was needed to start, you know, really. So when I saw that, I was like, wow, okay, but let's do it for real now, because I just tried for fun, but now I really want to do it, you know. So, and as I knew the city very well, I could install, you know, and put my office very fast. I know all the neighborhoods, I know all the prices, I know everything. So it was perfect, and I have my parents that live very close. So if I have any issue, I can see them. You know, I can. So it was actually. I'm not alone, you know, in a country, because I don't remember that I was not speaking English at all. At first, you see my bad English, you know, now. But when I started, I couldn't even say one word. It was terrible. Okay, so for me, it was a good help to have my parents, you know, close to me like that. So that's actually why I started and opened the company in Miami. Okay, so it was maybe a long explanation, but it's important to understand, you know, what happened in my brain, you know, all the process that happens before I came here. And since I'm here, I had some very good surprise with the fact that I'm in Miami, and some bad surprise also, surprises, I want to say, because also I am in Miami. So first thing, yes, it's cheap. It's actually cheaper than California, of course.
Yeah.
It's also cheaper than Seattle and all Washington, you know, area, where there is a lot of companies also. It's cheaper than Texas with Austin and Irvine and all that stuff. It's actually the same price as Montreal, but when I have to choose between Montreal and Miami for the same price, I take Miami in a second.
Of
You know what I
course.
mean? So, so that's so actually it's a very very good place right now to start companies. And when I started, I was almost, it was six years ago. I was almost the only one in Miami. There was just like there was almost nobody. And now you have, you know, other companies that opens. You have some big guys that opens, you know, in Fort Lauderdale, you know, with I forgot the name, Magic Leap,
Yes.
that opens over there, so you have some big stuff now. That's cool. And in Orlando, there was already stuff, with Electronic Arts and all and Space, all these companies. But in Miami, there was really nothing, and so it was good for me because every locals that actually has experience and couldn't find a job could now work for me. So that was actually really good for me. The salary are not that enormous compared to California because of course the life and it's way cheaper.
Right.
So for me it was also good because I can make again with the same amount of money I can make a better game. So that was really my only thing during this entire production was to make the best game possible with the small amount of money that I have, and trying to spend on the other stuff around as less as possible to really focus on the quality of the game. Because I know that there is no miracle that if you want to make a very, very good game with a very high quality, like we did for Herald, where we have a triple A quality plus Walt Disney style, it's very hard to do. You need some good guys, and to get these good guys, you need to pay them. There is no miracle. So I prefer to put all the money into the game than in other bullshit around. So when I opened like that was at the beginning very interesting for me. But after I think it was maybe a year and a half or 2 years of production, we had to the real production of the game, no more pre-prod, no more prototyping. Like we have the game, we know what we want to do, and now we need to do it fast and good, and well done. So I need to hire now way more guys, more between, we were at this time maybe 7, 8, and I needed to go at 15, 20 now, because now it's a race. You have to produce the game the fastest possible. So this time I did again a new announcement on Gamma Sutra because it worked perfectly, for me the first time.
Right.
So I was like, let's do it the same way. So I do the advertising, and I receive the first time 0 answer.
Oh
0.
man.
And I don't understand because the first time I received 70, in a second, and this time 0. And we started, and we were not famous before. Now we have some articles, coming out. People knows what Harold is. They can see the quality that we're doing with the game. So we should have more people who wants to come. And actually, it's the exact opposite. And it's very simple. The first time I got 0 answer, I forgot that I put the announcement because as I got 0 answer in my emails, I had a lot of stuff to do at the same time, so I completely forgot the advertising. And a week later, I'm like, oh, I forgot to post the advertising. I never posted. I made it. I did everything, but I forgot to post it on the website. I'm
Oh.
so stupid. So I go and I see that actually it was posted, and I received 0 email. So I'm like, whoa, there is a problem.
Yeah.
So I call Gamma Sutra, and I have a girl on the phone, really, really nice, that goes, you have 0 answer? 0, 0? I'm like, yeah. She's like, yeah, no, that's not possible. So what we're gonna see is, are you sure that you put the right email address and everything? And I said, yeah, I haven't changed anything since the last one, and everything worked. So she was like, let's check together. And I'm like, okay. So we check everything, and everything is correct. So she goes, you know what? Even on my server from Gamma Sutra, I can't even see any answer. And that's not possible. So I think there was a problem when you post it. There was a technical issue. Don't worry. I repost it right now for free, of course. And now it's going to work for sure. I'm going to try, I'm going to send you... how do you say? I'm going to send you an email like if I was answering your announcement, and you tell me if you receive the email. And she did that in real time. I received the email, right away, and I'm like, done. Thank you very much. It works. Now I'm waiting for my guys, And dude, you're not gonna believe me. Same thing.
Wow.
0 answer the second time, and this time I'm starting to really freaking out. So I called them back, and I got her on the phone, and I'm like, Madam, I'm sorry, but I got zero answer. And she goes, that's not possible. Let me check. It's very weird, what you're telling me. And
Right.
she check, and she's like, wow, I'm really sorry, but actually, you really received zero answer.
Hmm.
And I'm like, something is wrong with my announcement and stuff. And she goes, no, no, everything. And she was so, how do you say, not confused, but not shame. Shame is maybe too much as a word, but she's selling this service. You know what I
Right.
mean? And they said that they are the number one in the world, so there is something wrong. So she was so, she didn't know what to do. But what she said, okay, I'm gonna give you a third week for free, and I'm gonna put you on the top advertising, the most expensive, that come back, on first page all the time and stuff.
Just going all
And
out.
with the logo in like the maximum, the stuff was, I think it was like $4,000 or $5,000 to buy this advertising, this announcement. So she gave me that for free, and you're not gonna believe me. Third times in a row, zero answer.
Holy cow.
So this time, I'm starting to really, really freaking out. I already lost 3 weeks. I needed the guys right now to be able to start the production, and stuff. So I'm like, what I'm gonna do? What I can do with that? So it was actually very, very, very hard to find new employees with the level that I was looking for, with the resume that I was looking for, with this kind of experience. And couple of months after that, I got lucky. A company that is actually in Jacksonville, on the top north, of Florida, who is a big company that does AAA big games, close.
Hmm.
And I know a guy who is over there, and he tells me, dude, in 2 weeks the company is dead. So I send an email right away to all the guys over there to say, if you want to come to us, come. We will hire you guys. And I've got some guys from this company that came and that saved the day. You know what I mean? But I was this close to be able to have nobody at all. So after that, I thought it was me, to be honest with you. I thought it was the company, Moon Spider. Who the fuck are we? Nobody knows them. No, we never made any game. It's our first one. So, of course, people don't want to work with us. They prefer to work with Electronic Arts, with Ubisoft, with Activision, big companies that have big salaries. It's normal. But zero, I was really like, fuck, like, wow.
Right.
And another company opened in Miami. It was a couple, yeah, like 2, 3 years ago. I actually forgot the name of the company. They did a game called Super Kid Cannon. I don't know if you know on iOS, if you see what I'm talking about.
I've heard of it. I haven't played it though.
Yeah, okay. And the company closed, and I didn't even know they were existing actually. And I knew them when they closed. And there was two guys who was really like handling the company. They wanted to talk to me. So no problem, and I went to talk to them. And they explained me that for the last 2 years, they tried to hire very high level guys, and they tried everything. Stuff that was way more than I did. They went until, if you come to work for their company, they will give you a very, very competitive salary. First, stuff that I don't do. I can't follow the salary of an Electronic Arts or Activision, Then they will do it. They give you a brand new car. Brand new
Wow.
car. Yeah, for free. First day. Boom. And they give, I forgot how many, bonuses and stuff. It was insane. And even with that, they they were able never to hire one guy. With this kind of level, again, finding, some little kid that comes out from the school, okay, this, yes. But finding a guy who has 4 or 5 years of experience in the AAA industry, it's impossible. And so I was like, wow. So it's not me the problem. It's really like the zone and the area. And after, You have guys like just the guys we were saying just before from Magic Leap. So okay, they got I forgot now they have more than $1 billion from Google and from everybody. So okay, now they are in Fort Lauderdale, and I can tell you that the team they have, they're just a bunch of killers over there, you know. But why? And people came. No, almost none of them are from Florida. They came from everywhere, but because they have the actual money and they can really like pay and they work on a project that is completely mind blowing, you know, it's a revolution. So when you have something like that, yeah, it works. Yes, you can go anywhere and you can open a company anywhere and people will come because you pay an enormous amount of money and you work on something that is in terms of technology that is so high level that is amazing to work on that, you know, of course. So uh, that's the two stuff that I got, you know, since I'm here. Now, I have to admit that I was lucky. And every time I was really, really in deep shit to find some employees, I found them, but more by accident than really because of Miami or because of my company or because of Herald, you know. And I thought also that because we released Herald a year ago on PC, okay, and I thought that it was also one of the main issue is the fact that we never released anything. But now that Herald is out and the reviews are really good, that everybody, you know, the critics are perfect, you know, everybody's like very good game, awesome, this guy did a very good job, blah blah blah. Okay, I thought that now some people will be like, okay, so now I trust this company and I try their game. They know what they're doing. I want to take the risk and I want to go over there, you know. Actually, it didn't change because now we worked after we stopped we finished the PC version and we released it. We started to work on the iOS version and we just released it actually yesterday. Since yesterday, you can find Herald on iOS for iPhone, you know, iPad, all that stuff. And so we worked for a year on it to make it possible. We have to change, you know, all the touch. We have to change all the control to make it touch. You know, who works with the touch system. We redone all the level design. We redone a lot of things, and I needed some new engineer and some new guys to be able to work on the iPhone version. And even with the game out, with the PC version out, it didn't really change. And I found the employees by luck also again, you know, by contact and by, you know, but not really because I put an announcement of Gamma on Gamma Sutra. So that's, you know, that's my own experience, my, you know, my personal experience with Miami and South Florida, you know, in general, in terms of hiring people. Now, after, it's always better when you invite a journalist or where you have you know, some distributors that comes or editors that comes to see your company. When you see Miami and how beautiful is the city and how classy, you know, everything is are and stuff, it helps. You know, you're not in a shitty city. You're not, you know, so that helps. And I've got some good contact because of that sometimes. You know. After, I don't know if you have any actually particular question, you know, about Miami. I'm very, you know, I can answer without any problem.
Oh, sure. As far as the people when you were looking for people, I know that you said that it was hard to get the people
Yeah.
that had that kind of resume. Now, obviously, now you have more people going into gaming. They're going to schools. They have things like at the Art Institute. Miami-Dade also has one. Do you think that it's still going to be hard for companies like you? Because these will just be people straight out of school. Do you think it'll take some kind a different mechanism where brand new people have a way to build themselves up here and then have that resume? Because like you said, you may have people here, but they just have their college training and nothing else.
Yeah. It really depends on what kind of game and what quality you're looking for. If you want to make a little game for iPhone, okay, a little 2D games, a platformer, for example, something that is, very simple, very known, that there is nothing, you don't have to reinvent the wheel every 5 minutes. You can probably make a good game with just a student that comes from school. A good student, of course, if you take the best ones and you test them and you see, because for me, I'm going to be very honest with you. First, I'm a game designer. Okay, that's my first job. I do level design. I code a little. I'm not very good. I direct. The game, of course, Herald. So I touch a lot of little things, and but what I want to say is where I'm the best in because I don't think I'm the best in anything, but where I'm not the worst, the least worst, okay, is game design, and that's really my heart, and my first thing, and for me it's maybe horrible what I'm gonna say, but I really don't think that you can learn game design. So you can go to any school you want, you don't learn this stuff, unfortunately. And you can learn the basic rules, but the basic rules gonna bring you nowhere. Game design is really something weird. It's really something. It's almost a philosophy. Nobody's right. Nobody's wrong. It's just the way you do it that is wrong or right. But it's very complicated to teach. And I tried, and believe me, I tried to explain that stuff to some guys. It's very, very, very complicated. Now, if you talk about programmation, yes, you can completely come from a school, learn for 2-3 years how to code, and come out of this school with a diploma that can maybe let you start in a company with some very simple things to do. I want to say like UI or menus or stuff like that. Okay, to make a first step in the company. But in every now in animation or art, I want to say almost that same stuff. The school is not really that important. If you have, what I want to say is this: these jobs in video games are so for crazy people who are passionate so much that they can, one day my parents, when I started that, I work in video games for almost 12 years now. And when I was like 19 and I wanted to start work in video games industry, I would do anything to work in this industry, anything. And my parents one day, they told me, you will be, how can I say it in English? I'm sure that you will pay to work in video games. And I say, yeah, probably. Yeah, if you tell me that I'm going to work on Shenmue 2, yeah, I'm going to pay to work on Shenmue 2. Yeah, I will pay for that, So because I would do anything. And when you're like that, when you have this mind, it's the self-work. It's because I played thousands and thousands and thousands of games since I'm 5 years old, that I bought every fucking console, every game possible. I finished, I don't even know how many 10,000s of games I played in my life. I sold, I could take all my money from every anniversary and Christmas and keep them for 3-4 years just to buy a Neo Geo. Because I want to play Neo Geo. I want to have these games. They are awesome. I have to. There is no other way. I'm going to die if I don't have these games. So when you have this kind of spirit, school don't do shit for you. You already learn all of that by yourself. And so what I want to say is, if you're an artist and you want to work in video games, I'm sure that you draw every day for 8 hours all characters of every video games possible, and you start to open. If you open Maya the first time in your life, The first day at school, you can stop right away. You have no chance at all. You have to learn all of that by yourself. And of course, the school will help you. Of course, it will, give you the base, again, the basics, and give you the right direction to go. But it's very large, very mainstream. You know what I mean? Like all the guys that I know that are good in this industry, that I worked with them directly, and I'm like, okay, this graphic guy is amazing. This animator is amazing. This coder is amazing. It's because none of them first ever went to any school, because first they were not existing at the time, but even they learn everything from their own by doing. If you have a guy that tells you, yeah, I went to school, I finished, even first, like, I don't know how do you say that, like when you're the best one in the entire school, I
Like
forgot
top of
the name.
class, like
Sorry?
valedictorian or something.
Yeah, exactly. Even that for me has absolutely no value. And the first thing I ask is, okay, do you have some personal work? If the guy show me only the demo that he did with the school, I'm absolutely not interested, and nobody will. Nobody will. It's not me personally, that I decide that. No. It's everybody. Now, if you have somebody that did an okay school, but on the side, he programmed himself a little engine, a 3D engine, even if it's a shitty. Of course, the guy doesn't gonna make Unreal 4 alone as a student, of course. But even if he shows me what he have done, I know what is hard to do. I know what stuff you have to, from what you have to go to succeed, just this little stuff. And I'm way more impressed by that than by any diploma. Okay, first. After, there is entire jobs. So what I was saying here is like for artists, animators, programmers, yes, they can go to school, and there is some amazing schools that works very well. Now in game design, level design, you can go to any school you want. I'm sorry, we need to talk before. We need to see, because again, it's a philosophy. And if you you can. There is some amazing games, like if you take some big morgue, or like a World of Warcraft or some stuff like that. I'm sure it's an amazing game. I'm sure there is millions of people who played. It was one of the biggest success of all time. Of course, it's an amazing game, but it's absolutely not the kind of game I like. I never tried it, and I can tell you that I will never be able to create and design a game like that, because I just don't understand what is this kind of game. I don't get it. So now, if somebody who is, let's say, the lead game designer of World of Warcraft come and wants to work for me at Moon Spider, that is fucking impossible, but let's say, I don't even know if I'm going to hire him, because I will never ever make a game that he really likes, that he can do. Now, maybe he's also very good in every other style. Maybe he's very good in platformers too, like I love, or in a race game or stuff like that I love too. So if he can, perfect. But I always test by talking, and by testing also on paper, and with with questionnaires and stuff. What kind of feeling, what kind of guy I have in front of me. If it's the guy that likes the same game as me or not. After, sometimes it's good that he doesn't like the same, because he can bring you stuff that you haven't think of.
Right.
So it's very complicated. And to get a good team of level designer and game designer that's really how can I, like, really likes to work together, and understand each other ideas, and can rebound on them to make it better. It's actually a very, very special and complicated chemistry to have.
It's really interesting because it kind of reminds me about just art. And a lot of people that, especially back in the day, they had this question about, are video games art or not? But in what you're saying, I mean, it sounds like the same things you would expect out of an artist. Someone can create a painting, and some person may say, wow, that's great, but for another person, they may not like that kind of paintings. There's so much. Same thing with writing, same thing with television. And also the other aspect of training. If you want to become a better writer, sure, you can take English and writing in school, but you also need to be writing every day, reading about other people who wrote, doing all that research. The same thing seems to be in gaming. You have to put in all this work because you really care about it, and it's not like you're just looking at it as just another job or, hey, this is something cool. You have to have that passion like a true artist.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just about passionate guys. It's this industry is was created by passionate guys, and it's still handled by passionate guys. Even if money came and fucked up a little everything, even the guys, the top guys at Microsoft, the top guys at Sony, the top guys at whatever, they're still gamers, dude. They still play and they still love video games, and they want to do anything else, than that. So, all the programmers that work in video games industry, they could make twice, but not now. Even now, if it's still the same, like a very 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 amazing programmer can work for a bank. He can work for some insurance, some like medical stuff, and they will make way more money. Believe me, a guy who can make like the lead tech at Epic Studio, who do Unreal 4. Believe me, this guy can make way more money if he goes working for the best bank in the world and make a fucking program that give them, some amazing interaction and very fast stuff for like, the market and everything. He will make way more money. And I actually know a guy like that who was on the first company I worked on. He was a lead tech. And before, he worked for the European NASA. So
Wow.
imagine. He's a passionate guy about physics and astronomy and everything. He coded the alone. They sent a satellite. It was like maybe 10 years ago, very famous satellite in Europe for TVs and stuff. And he coded the launch system alone. This guy's
Wow.
incredible. Okay. And after that, he was like, yeah, I love video games because it's physics. So I want to make airplane games, and I know perfectly all the mathematics for an airplane, how it moves in the air, in the space, and everything. So I can be a very good programmer, and actually, he was one of the best. And after the company died, instead of going to another video game company, he was like, nah, you know what? I'm gonna go back and make more money. And he went to work at one of the biggest French bank in the world. Yeah, and he still works over there, and he makes 3, 4, 5 times more money than he did. And he doesn't want to hear about video games anymore. Why? Because he was not that passionate, that passionate. So when you're not that passionate, you will not stay in video games because it's too hard. It's too crazy. You see all my gray hair here? See, I'm fucking 35, huh? I'm not 45, huh? You see? And that's the last 5 years. This because I'm making a game is insane. It's crazy. So if you don't have all this stuff, you can do whatever school you want. You have absolutely no chance. You can stop right away. I tell you. Like, don't lose your time. Don't find something else. Now, if you really want to do that and you will kill to do that, normally, if you have a little talent and chance, chance is very important too.
Hmm.
Very, very important actually. You will probably work in video games. And school doesn't really have anything to do with that for me. It's always a plus, always a plus. But if you're really good, even if you went to no school, nobody cares. In any, imagine you're an animator and you come and you have a demo reel. Yes, I did that with Maya alone, and you see some amazing animation. You don't even have to ask for what school, what, you don't care. You're like, this guy is good, done. Art, same stuff. The guy can, just learn how to draw himself, for 10 years, in his closet. He show you his book. If the book is amazing, you hired him.
Exactly.
You have nothing to do with school, nothing. And you know, actually, there is there is a school in France called the Goblin that is actually the best animation school in the world, but like far, far away to any other. Actually, it's miracle what they do. It's incredible. Every guy who comes from this school, they're hired already before they finish the school by all the biggest studio all the time each year, like Pixar, you know, DreamWorks, Disney. Everybody wants them, and every year they come with like 20, 30 guys that are just insanely good. So you're like, okay, so there is a secret. There is somebody that can create this kind of student, you know? No, it's not true actually. You know what they do? It's very simple. They see 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 kids. They don't care about the school, about anything. They want to show their book. And they take the best 20 of them. So believe me, the guys who enter in this school, they were already fucking amazing. They didn't even need the school. And so after they come out of this school, they are even better because now they work in a team, they know how to work in production, they learn things, but they already have the talent like insane. And some of them even don't continue, you know, the school, and they just stop after just 1 year because they already get a job at Pixar, so they don't care.
Wow.
And so again, the what you can do alone, what you can show to people, is what really counts in terms of finding a job. You know, now if you have nothing to show, like when you're a game designer, it's very hard because what are you gonna show? You're gonna show like game concept. You're gonna give like, you know, like enormous like 100 pages of stuff where you explain a game. And to be honest with you, everything that you put in these pages are not really worth anything for a very simple reason. Is, believe me, the game that you're gonna make after that from that document will have nothing to do with the document at the end. So it's everything is evolving all the time. So it's very complicated. And me, to be honest with you, I got lucky when I started working in video games industry. Is because of a friend. I had a friend who was a musician in video games industry, and he still is, and he made the music actually for Herald. And this guy worked for a small company, and to make the music of their little demo they were making, and he talked about me to them, and they were like, yeah, okay, why not? We want to meet him, you know, why not? And I got a big discussion with the boss. And after like 4 hours of discussion, he understood, you know, what I could do for them. And he was like, let's try. Let's try. But I'm not, you know, give you any, you know, if you're stuck in a month, you get out. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, let's, and it was for free. It was for free. I worked like that for free. It was the only way I could really enter. And I learned a lot of stuff over there, of course, directly in the production, but I already had this the X factor or whatever it is, you know, bullshit that he felt, and he was like, okay, he doesn't know how to do that, but he has the right spirit, and that's what really counts, actually.
Now, when you were looking for where Moonspire Studios would be, I know that you guys are out in Key Biscayne. Was there
Yeah.
something that you were looking for as far as, you know, the building, the location? You know, did you want something where when people came to it, it was like, oh, I want to have this certain look, or was it more practical about I just want to have, you know, a place that I can afford?
It was actually the second one, of course. It was, I didn't care at all. The only thing that I was looking for is I need a good internet connection. I need security because I'm gonna have the dev kits, I'm gonna have the entire game, you know, like that. So I need security. And so camera, you know, guards, you know, during the night and everything. And in Miami, there is a big issue that I learned at that moment, is the parking space.
Ah, yes.
Okay, because in Miami there is no underground, of course. Okay, because if you have underground, it's flooded every weekend. You know, so of course nobody use that, and they make parking lot, you know, so you can't find any. So I needed a small space because you can work with a small, you know, office and put them very, you know, close to each other. And I wanted an open space, like we can all talk and have, you know, a good like chemistry like that. But so I wanted to hire between, you know, between 10 and 15 guys, but in every zone that I was going, the guys were like, oh yeah, you want to rent? Yeah, we have that. We have 10,000, you know, like 1,000 square feet or 2,000 square feet, no problem. And it's actually very cheap. And I'm like, okay, so, and for the parking space, oh, you have only three.
Oh
I'm like,
man.
what do you mean three? I have 10 employees. Ah, yeah, but the space you take, it's only three. If you want 10, you need to take a way bigger space because we don't have space. We don't have parking spaces like that. And I'm like, oh. So I'm starting to find some zone where the parking lots were actually first arrive, first serve. Okay? And I found one in Key Biscayne that was actually really cheap compared to all the others. And with the parking lot, you know, perfect, that I could put anybody. And Key Biscayne is one of the most secure place in Miami. So I was like, done, you know, I'm going over there. It's perfect. So I was really lucky actually for this one because I went from Fort Lauderdale to Kendall. I searched a lot, and of course downtown, you know, all the little downtown possible, and I always had an issue, and the only one that was actually perfect was the one from at Key Biscayne. That's why we installed the company over there. So yeah,
As far as with Harold, so I've already got to see it, and yes, it looks great and everything. I really love the style of having the idea of having an angel control the guy
yeah,
and running around stuff. It was really great, and I love the art. I mean, like you said, top notch. Now, obviously, with the demo and people being able to play it, that was going to get people excited. But can you talk about what it took to get the word out? Like, did you do conventions? Like, a lot of people
we
like have that question. Like, once they're done, how do they get it out there?
it's a very good question. And first, I will not be the best one to explain that for a very simple reason: is we failed miserably with that marketing stuff. You know, so that's the issue. I tried everything I could with my little, you know, power. So first, convention, yes, importance, very important. We did PAX, the real PAX, huh? Not PAX, PAX, the one in Seattle.
Ah,
We got a booth over there. We did very nice things, very professional. It cost us a fucking arm. It was insanely expensive, but I knew that I had to do that, and that was really important. We presented the game for the first time to the public over there. We got a very, very good exposure. We were lucky. We were the only new game presented at PAX. So all
nice.
the journalists went to see us and to be like, oh, what is that? Oh, fun. Okay, new game, cool. You know, so we got a lot of, I think I did between 50 and 70 interviews in 3 days.
Wow.
So it was very simple. I had a little box, a little cage, you know, with a big TV and the game, and I was making demo all day long for 12 hours in a row, you know. And we had a booth where you could play the games. There was maybe like, I forgot, maybe 5 or 6 different, you know, stations where you could play the game for the public. And we really felt the first day, nobody really knew what we were. So we got some journalists coming, you know, and I've got like maybe, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, like 10, you know, interviews in the first day. And after that, during the night, because there is parties and everything, and that's the most important actually. It's not the stuff, it's the parties. That's the most. If you want to meet and meet the right guys, it's at the parties, not at the conventions. So you have all these parties coming, and everybody talks. They're like, "Oh, I've seen this game today called Herald. It's amazing." "Oh, what? I haven't seen where he was." "Oh, it's over there." "Oh, I'm going to see them tomorrow." And I was working at that time with a company for the marketing, and during I was with a guy who was helping me on that. And man, we were on a party, and he just received like text on email to get new meeting for the next day. And in like 2 hours, we went from 5 to 20, 25, 30. We couldn't even handle everybody.
Wow.
So we had to take two, some salves, of people, like two or three guys in a row, in the same room. And I was doing the stuff, not for only one journalist, but for two, three, four even sometimes. It was the only solution. So we really felt, this big stuff. And the third day, it was crazy. Everybody was talking about the game. One of the guys who invented PAX, I forgot his name, even tweet. He has like, I don't know, like millions of followers, and he just tweet, "Oh, I just played Herald. It's really cool, blah blah blah." So it was amazing. Now, it was amazing at that moment. Okay, when I was there and we could feel all this, bubbles coming and stuff. It was really, really nice. Now the real things are this. The reality is this. After like I said, probably 60, 70 different interviews, from very specific stuff to very generic with TV, and like even there was like the Seattle Herald or whatever it was, like the magazine, like the real how do you say, like the Miami Herald, same kind of stuff. Who filmed us, and explained all the game TV stuff. From the 70 interview, we got 4 published. 4.
Wow.
So actually, a lot of stuff is happening, but when you go at the end, and there is nothing left. Because they didn't have the time to do it, they found another game, they whatever, But we were lucky, again. The 4 that talk about the games were actually the biggest 4. IGN, Game Informer, like some GameSpot, some real big guys like that. So we were really happy because we got some very good, information like that, exposure. But when you analyze it and you think about it, because just to tell you, it cost me more than $100,000, all this stuff, to be able to get the booth, because we printed T-shirts, we created a lot of like how do you say, like little cards, and little very beautiful stuff that you can keep, collector stuff, to make people come, all of that has a cost, and especially the cost of the construction of the booth, with 6 TVs, with 2 big plasma, with like computers everywhere. It was very, very expensive. And I think, for me, it was not worth it. Like the amount of money I put for the final result was maybe not worth it. But it's very important. But what happened also is the fact that at that time, we were in September 2012, and the game should have come out for normally January 2013. But it actually came out in February 2015. So we got a big, delay. So even all the little stuff that we got at PAX, if the game was out 2 or 3 months after, yes, you still have the dynamics and all the stuff running. But this time, after 2 years, nobody remembers the game. No, it's finished. You have to start from scratch again. And we didn't have the money anymore. We didn't have anything to do. So it was very complicated. And we actually didn't do any other like big stuff. And E3, forget the price of E3 is insane, completely insane. A little booth, a little correct, is $1 million. It's completely crazy. So we tried some little local, stuff in Miami actually, or in Orlando, but nothing really big. And but what we did is we focus really on the journalists, because first it's free, it's the only one that can, send the information to everybody for free. But you have the risk that if they don't like the games, they can also give you a very bad advertising, so it's risky. And that's why all the big companies, they prefer to go at millions of dollars of marketing, and put advertising everywhere. Like that, they don't have the issue with that, and they're like, yeah, we don't care about the notes, the review, yeah, we don't care. Because we're going to put millions and people will buy the game anyway. Us, we couldn't really do that. So we really have to rely on them. And we actually got a pretty decent, for a small game made by a small company who is the first game and everything. We actually got a really pretty decent coverage, but it's not enough. It's way not enough. And even with some YouTubers that are big, it's still not enough. And to really start a buzz and be able to get, that people know that the game exists without any real marketing with money, I mean publicity, real ones, it's almost playing lottery. Like you have one chance on 10 millions that maybe one guy from somewhere that is really famous gonna say something about your stuff and buy a big chance that's gonna make, and start. Unfortunately, we didn't have that. Now, I know some people that happens too. It's not impossible. It's like the lottery. I know people get. They won the lottery. They have the ticket with all the numbers. That happens. But yeah, of course, it happens almost all the time. But it's one guy on 100,000, on 100 millions. Here it's the same. So we always see only the guys that won the lottery. But we don't see the 100 million that paid $2 and have a wrong ticket with all the wrong numbers. Video games industry right now, for indie games like me, it's a little like that. So you have to find something to be able to go out of this water, because you're drowning. Nobody can see you. You're dead. To just open and be like, okay, I'm alive and I want to continue. You need tons of money. And thinking, right, it's horrible what I'm going to say, but it's actually the truth, unfortunately. I know some people right now that make games on, I'm not going to say any name because it's actually top secret, but I don't care. I'm going to say it like that so we don't know who it is. I know a company who made a game recently on iOS. And the production of this game, the entire production, was $100,000. So it's really nothing. So I saw the game, and of course it's a shitty iOS game who looks like nothing. Okay, for $100,000 you can do a miracle. And they spend 12 million in advertising.
Wow.
Okay, so when you see this kind of difference between what you actually put in the product itself and what you put to sell it, I don't understand this industry anymore. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the it's insane. Because the big ones, when you make a game that costs you $100 or $200 million and you sell it for $60, you have to sell millions and millions to just get back your money. Like movies, they have no other solution. Now it's half and half. So how much have you spent in your game? 100 million? Okay. We're gonna spend 100 million in marketing. Oh, okay, nice. How much do you spend? 200? we're gonna spend 200 millions. Okay, that's what GTA, the last GTA 5 did. That's what the last Call of Duty do, Assassin's Creed, everybody. Okay, so when you do one to one, I can understand, Star Wars, for example, the last movie, they went a little more on marketing than the movie. But the movie is still fucking expensive. It's like 400 million or some shit. It's crazy. So you put 400, you put 500 in marketing, you're at 900 million, and in a week you get 4 billion. So you don't care. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, perfect. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Of course. Now, this is easy, I want to say. When you put $500 million in marketing, normally, if you don't do that badly, normally every person on the planet knows that your fucking movie is coming out. Of course. And games is the same, okay? Now, where it's starting to be a big issue for me is the first example I gave you, where now it's not the same. It's the marketing is starting to go higher than the actual production, but not just 10% more or even the double. We're talking about 10, 100% more. And you know what I mean? Like a 10 times more or 100 times more. Sorry, I said bullshit. That is wrong. That is wrong for the industry. That is really, really, really wrong. So I really hope that we're not going to finish like the movie industry with 2 or 3 big guys that control the entire markets, like Activision, Take-Two, Ubisoft, Electronic Arts. We all know them. And they're gonna do like they do right now with all their fucking, Marvel movies and blah, like again and again and again. Okay, it's cool. I love them. I'm a big fan of Marvel. I'm a big fan of DC. I love that stuff, and I can't wait, to see the new X-Men, Deadpool. I love that, but in one point they just take the stuff and they press it and and squeeze all the juice until the end of the end, and after they kill the stuff, and for the next 20 years we will not see any more shit like that because nobody wants. They're like, oh, I'm fed up with that, please.
Exactly.
So I really hope that the industry of video games will not do that. They already started. They already do the Call of Duty every year, the Assassin's Creed every year, even if this year it's finished. Finally, they understood. Thank God, Ubisoft, you understood that you have to make good games. Thank you. So yeah, you can't make a good game in 1 year, even with 1,000 guys. That's not possible. So they turn the teams. You have different teams that do the same games. That doesn't work. It has to be the same team who works on the same game. What the fuck, So they really try, but it doesn't work the same way as a movie industry. So I really hope that this video games industry will not gonna take this weird path where there is blockbuster movies that unfortunately are all the same, that are, formats, always the same thing, perfect, and some movies like Sundance, like, I don't know how do you call this kind of movie, like, very small movies,
Indie movies, yeah.
Exactly, where finally you can see some new stuff. Thank you. Finally, a scenario that I haven't seen 1,000 times. Finally, a good story. Finally, some good, if it's gonna be like this, because it's really started with the indie games that take risk and make games that we never played before. But yeah, they are not amazing technically, but they're new. That's new way. Or playing always the same fucking game for the last 10 years. Like Call of Duty, I want to shoot myself. When I see a new one, I'm like, oh my God, again, the same game. GTA, they do the exact same game for 10 years. And every time they just make it a little better technically. So one day, I really hope they're gonna make it. They're gonna make their game that they're trying to do for the last 10 years. I hope they will really make it, and maybe it will be the end. Maybe it will be the last game ever made, because you have everything and everything works perfect. You can, you know what I mean. You can do anything in this game. So I don't know where all this industry goes, but I can see that is weird. It's new. It's changing so fast. It's when I started my game, the iPhone was just starting. There was no game on it. The iPad didn't even existed yet. So when now my game is on iPhone. You know what I mean? It's a game that I conceive and made before the actual device exists. This is completely, it's weird as hell. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make a movie on something on holographic TV. They don't exist, dude. Yeah, but when my movie will be out, they will exist. Are you sure? It's crazy to think like that. The technology goes so fast, and so yeah, I don't know where all that stuff gonna go. I have no idea actually, but it's very interesting to see because we are here. We can see it. It's not history. It's right now. It's happening now. So yeah.
Well, I gotta say that I mean everything that you've talked about has been fascinating because I mean there's a lot of people who are thinking about getting into gaming. There's a lot of people who are in school right now, and sometimes they need to hear from a real world experience perspective so that they could see what they're getting into. And like you said, if you have the passion for this type of industry. Same thing with people who want to go into entertainment like films. You have to put in a lot of work, and sometimes you have to go through the bottom to move your way up. And you may not become a millionaire, but if you really care about what you do and you put in the work and you have some talent, you can really have something. But I want to thank you, Loris, for talking to us today because I
No
mean
problem,
it
man.
was really great.
Thanks. It's a pleasure. It's a real pleasure to talk to you again. And when you want to, just contact me, and there is no problem.
Awesome. So I hope everybody will go check out Harold just now out on iOS, and of course it's already out on PC. So
Yeah.
once
We're
again,
gonna we're gonna actually tomorrow we're gonna put the game at $10 on PC. We're gonna put down the price on Steam.
awesome. So I hope
So yeah,
everyone checks it out. Moonspire Studios. Thanks a lot again for coming on and talking with us.
thanks, man.